Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about the Bitcoin dominance, both including stablecoins and excluding stablecoins, and just make some general market updates. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out Into the Cryptoverse Premium at intothecryptoverse.com. Now, you guys know my stance on this. If you go back over the last several months, we talked about an inflection point on the Bitcoin dominance in September. You can see now we have seen a fairly sizable bounce off of the lows. I mean, it's still at 40.6%. Let me not get too far ahead of myself here. Still relatively low in the Bitcoin dominance. But what's interesting is that it more or less just bounced off the same level that it did in mid 2018. And so, I think the argument here is that we're just potentially in this range, right? Where we sort of see a move up, we consolidate for a week or two, and then we continue our journey. And I think there's a case to be made that that's what's currently going on with the Bitcoin dominance, and that it is still poised to break out to higher levels. Now, I know a lot of people aren't that convinced on the Bitcoin dominance, and that's fine. This is just my own personal opinion, my own convictions based on what I've seen happen in the past. The idea that there likely will be a lot of regulation coming for the altcoin market. I'm still going to be long-term bullish on the altcoin market, but in the short term, I still remain very spooked by likely regulations heading our way, and then also just looking at patterns that we've seen in the past. Remember, Ethereum's Bitcoin valuation was like 0.085 just a couple weeks ago around the merge, and we said we're likely getting that secondary distribution phase. Ether Bitcoin's valuation is back down to below 0.07. It's probably going to spend some time around these levels. Maybe it'll pop back above, maybe not. But I think you are slowly seeing the same thing play out. And one thing to consider is that this chart includes stablecoins. So, there is certainly an increase in stablecoin use from, say, this bear market to the one that we had back in 2018. But arguably, that doesn't mean that the same move on the Bitcoin dominance, including stablecoins, won't occur. I mean, if you go look at a lot of alt Bitcoin pairs, they still do, of course, remain in macro downtrends. Like Solana Bitcoin still looks like it's in a macro downtrend rejected again and again off its bear market resistance band. The same thing for AVAX Bitcoin, getting rejected off the bear market resistance band. Some are holding up a little bit better than others. For instance, if you were to go look at ADA Bitcoin, it's still sitting just above it. A few others are as well. I think BNB Bitcoin is still sitting just above it as well. But also remember that BNB has also seen previous breakouts like this in bear markets, only to just sort of come back down as we went into the end of the year. So I do still think that it does remain somewhat reasonable to still remain cautious on the altcoin market. Another way to look at this is to exclude stablecoins. It's a very interesting chart. If I show you right here, so this is the Bitcoin dominance, this orange line, excluding stablecoins. If you calculate it like this, the dominance is already up above 46%. Arguably, since 2018, the Bitcoin dominance, excluding stablecoins, has been putting in higher lows, but also at the same time, it's been putting in lower highs. So this is going to converge somewhere probably out in several years, and we'll have to see which way it ultimately breaks. But arguably, my general expectation is that it still should likely break back out to the upside over the coming months. It is certainly taking longer than I thought. It's clear that's the case. But in terms of the dominance reaching an inflection point in September, it does seem like there is a case to be made that has in fact happened. But of course, only time will tell if that thesis continues to hold up and it actually breaks out to new local highs. Hopefully this is useful. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe. I get the Bitcoin dominance videos aren't necessarily everyone's favorites, but I think it's an important part of understanding the overall market cycle, and we'll see ultimately where it ends up over the next several months. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.